gracious good day to one and all once again. 'Tis I, Norton the First, by grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. Back with you once again for episode number 137 of Emperor Norton's fantastic history vlog. Today is September 11, 2020, our 176th day under COVID-19 restrictions. A few announcements at the beginning. First of all, don't forget that next Thursday is Empire Day, the day that we proclaimed ourselves Emperor of the United States in 1859. And the Emperor Norton Legacy League is having a special event that evening. Here's the information right here. Sign up via Facebook. If you're not on the Facebook, just send us an email, emperornortontour@gmail.com. We will get you the Zoom link. It's virtual. You will be encouraged to make an Emperor Norton sundae, and the recipe is on the invitation. We will send it to you if necessary. And we will also have a round of Ask the Emperor, and then you'll answer the question, what do we mean to you? So sign up for that. It's 7 p.m., September 17th. Lots of fun. Don't forget tomorrow's special Saturday with the Countess Lola Montez of Landsfeld, as we always do. Has a few surprises in store, so don't forget to tune in for that one. But let's begin with our national days. Today is National Make Your Bed Day. Did you make your bed? Hope so. It is No News is Good News Day. Oh, I think that's pretty much how everything is right now, isn't it? Patriot Day, we'll come to that. It's a remembrance of 9/11, but we'll come to that. I Want to Start My Own Business Day. We have our own business, but it's kind of on hiatus at the moment. Hopefully, we'll be back in our business again very soon. Our Florida man story today. Florida man spots firefighter running toward angel in clouds on September 11. Saw the photo. It looks believable. Not the most outrageous Florida man story we've ever had, but that's what came up everywhere for today. Our San Francisco story. Very significant. Something that's had a profound impact on the Bay Area because it was on this date in 1972 that Bay Area Rapid Transit, BART, opened. The Bay Area Rapid Transit, BART, is a rapid transit public transportation system serving the San Francisco Bay Area. The heavy rail, elevated, and subway system connects San Francisco and Oakland with urban and suburban areas in Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, and San Mateo counties. Construction of the system began in 1964 and included a number of major engineering challenges, including excavating subway tunnels in San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley, constructing aerial structures throughout the Bay Area, particularly in Alameda and Contra Costa counties, tunneling through the Berkeley Hills on the Concord Line, and lowering the system's centerpiece, the Transbay Tube, connecting Oakland and San Francisco into a trench dredged onto the floor of San Francisco Bay. We'll come back to that. Passenger service began on September 11, 1972, initially just between the MacArthur and Fremont stations. The rest of the system opened in stages, with the entire system opening in 1974 when the Transbay service through the Transbay Tube began. Rick Pellinger has been a moving image archivist for about 25 years and collects historic films and footage focusing on life, culture, and industry from 1900 to 1980. Wonderful archivist, great historian. Check out the Pellinger Archives. It's really, hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Pellinger or Pellinger? Not sure which. Anyway, correct me. He was also one of the writers on the very first day of BART service, September 11, 1972. These are his recollections from that day. I was a 19-year-old UC Berkeley sophomore from the East, hip to transit but relatively new to California, he remembers, and thrilled that carless people like me would have speedy access to so much more of the Bay Area. People here had waited for BART for at least 10 years since they voted to authorize it, and it was a real party that day. Remember, this is before the energy crisis of 73 to 74, and in those days, schools opened later in September, so families, so the system was full of parents and kids joyriding. It was a thrill to see families riding and inspecting the system, and they poured their sales taxes into, and marveling at the technology, which for that time was pretty advanced. Indeed it was. I was a public transit fan and regularly rode AC Transit to get to school and explored the East Bay, but BART expanded my free range of movement. I remember standing in the first car, looking through the window at the operator, and amazed how the train sped up to 80 miles an hour on the elevated right-of-way of Lake Merritt. Now, we have a connection to BART, and that is by the Trans-Bay Tube, because we issued this proclamation on the 21st of September, 1872. Whereas, we issued our decree ordering the citizens of San Francisco and Oakland to appropriate funds for the survey of a suspension bridge from Oakland Point via Goat Island, also for a tunnel, and to ascertain which is the best project. And whereas the said citizens have hitherto neglected to notice our said decree, and whereas we are determined our authority shall be fully respected, now therefore we do hereby command the arrest by the Army of both the boards of city fathers if they persist in neglecting our decrees. So the Trans-Bay Tube was our idea in addition to the Emperor Norton Bridge. And if we can't get that bridge named for us, then how's about the Trans-Bay Tube? What say our loyal citizens? Chime in. Let's get to our other history for today. It was on this date in 1773 that Benjamin Franklin, the only president of the United States who was never president of the United States, wrote, "There was never a good war or bad peace." I think we could agree with that. This date in 1789, Alexander Hamilton was appointed the first Secretary of the Treasury. 1792, the French Blue Gem, later the Hope Diamond, is stolen with other French crown jewels from the Royal Storehouse in Paris during the Reign of Terror. Oh, maybe we'll have Reign of Terror back with us again on a Saturday. That'd be nice. 1847, the first singing of Stephen Foster's Susanna. Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Somewhat reminiscent of San Francisco weather. It was so... Wait. Oh, God, I just forgot the lyric I was going to think of. Was so nice, it was so dry the day we left. Was so wet the day we left, the weather it was dry. It was so hot, I froze to death. San Francisco, Susanna, don't you cry. Well, there you go. Where were we? 1885, Ambrose Bierce finishes as editor of the Wasp magazine. I'm sure that didn't go well. 1926, the Aloha Tower is dedicated in Honolulu. 1929, San Francisco Mayor Sonny Jim Rolfe inaugurates the new pedestrian traffic signal light system. 1936, FDR dedicates Boulder Dam, now known as Hoover Dam. 1941, Charles Lindbergh claims the, quote, British, Jewish, and Roosevelt administration, unquote, are trying to get us into World War II. 1961, Bob Dylan's first New York performance. 1962, the Beatles cut the record Love Me Do and flip side P.S. I Love You. 1965 in Beatles news, Help album goes number one and stays number one for 9 weeks. 1970, the Ford Pinto is introduced. 1977, the Atari 2600, originally known as the Atari Video Computer System, Atari VCS, is released in North America, revolutionizing the video game industry. Oh my God, we're getting sun. Haven't seen the sun in about 3 or 4 days. The air is looking a little better today, but air quality is really awful right now. We're in red conditions, probably purple later on in the day. And on this date, in 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airplanes and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were flown to the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. A third plane hit the Pentagon just outside of Washington, D.C., and the fourth plane crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Almost 3,000 people were killed during the 9/11 terrorist attacks. A moment of silence. And in 2012, the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, is stormed, looted, and burned down, killing 5 people, including the U.S. ambassador. Our births today. O. Henry, William Sidney Porter, American short story writer. 1885, English poet and writer D.H. Lawrence. 1917, Ferdinand Marcos, President of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. 1932, Valentino, the fashion designer. 1940, film director Brian De Palma. 1945, musician Leo Kottke. 1962, Christy McNichol, actor, Buddy on the series Family. Our deaths today. 1712, Giovanni Domenico Cassini, Italian-French mathematician, astronomer, and engineer who discovered 4 of Saturn's moons. 1851, Sylvester Graham, American nutritionist and minister, yes, the Graham cracker. 1948, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, founder of Pakistan. 1965, Ralph C. Smedley, founder of Toastmasters International. 1971, Nikita Khrushchev, Soviet premier, dies of a heart attack at the age of 77. Those of a certain age will get that, I'm sure. 1973, Salvador Allende, president of Chile from 1970 to 1973, and the first Marxist to become president of a Latin American country through an open election. He commits suicide by shooting himself during a military coup at the age of 65. Oh, we have an airplane passing overhead, but it's not too loud. I don't think it'll cause us any trouble. Lost on this date in 1987, Lauren Green, if you remember from Bonanza. We are in an episode of Bonanza played by the actor Al Jaffe. It talks about the Golden Gate Bridge. 1988, reggae singer Peter Tosh is shot dead at the age of 43. 2001, of course, we lost over 3,000 people in the terrorist attacks that day, including many Bay Area residents who were on those planes heading home. 2016, transgender performer Alexis Arquette, and 2019, T. Boone Pickens, American businessperson and oil tycoon. Our quote today: if we learn nothing else from this tragedy, we learn that life is short and there is no time for hate. That comes from Sandy Dahl, wife of Flight 93 pilot Jason Dahl. Well, that wraps up for this edition. Now don't forget, we are accepting tips. Here's the information for that. We greatly appreciate all of our wonderful donors. Also, if you'd like more information about what the Countess and I do, there's the website, sftimemachine.com. Click on more info for any of the 3 tours listed there. And on those websites, you will find a compendium of information about history, as well as some great recipes. So until we see you again, stay safe, stay inside, and therefore stay healthy. If you go outside, please wear a mask. Don't take unproven cures. Be kind to one another. Until we see you again, a gracious good day.